stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Hogan, would you take roll, please?
Mayor Wilson?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Elliott is noted absent. Trustee Bornstein?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Here.
Trustee Koopman is noted absent. Trustee Romanello is noted absent. Trustee Stevens?
Here. Thank you. Before us, we have a agenda and a consent agenda. Do we have any modifications or a motion to approve?
I would like to take some of those bills out under C. I have questions on the TPX and the Murray Law bill.
So do you want a discussion on them, or is that something you're going to address separately?
I have a few questions of the town manager.
Okay, so we will move item C to item 7. If the board's in agreement with that. Okay. Any other modifications to the agenda? Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as modified?
Motion to approve as modified.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Hogan?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Bornstein?
Yes.
Mayor Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Stevens?
Yes.
First item on the agenda, ordinance number 01-2020, an ordinance approving the annexation of property known as Fire Station 1.
Good evening.
Mr. Manning.
Mayor, trustees. Should be relatively familiar with this particular piece of property after passing a couple resolutions. There's 2 ordinances. The first ordinance, number 1, annexes the fire station, includes an annexation agreement. In that agreement, there is a designation of planned development zoning with a sketch plan, and ordinance 02 then adopts that zoning and sketch plan.
Ms. Hogan, can you help
Oh, is it?
Trustee Clark?
That's okay, that's okay. I apologize.
No problem.
Continue on.
Continue, Mr. Manning.
I'll see if I can get one going.
Okay. So this is the location, as you've seen before. It's located west of Beacon Lake Road, about 1 acre in size. This is an actual aerial photo showing the red-roofed fire station itself with a couple of driveways onto 105. North and east are already in the town limits. West is in the town of Palmer Lake, and south is in the county. A few things about the annexation agreement. Does designate plan development zoning. There's a PD sketch plan with that zoning, simply says fire station. Water service is on an existing well, which will continue until the town water system is available in the location. Water rights will be deeded to the town. It's served currently by the Palmer Lake Sanitation District. Future development will require approval of a PD site plan through the town of Monument. Impact fees and other fees will be collected for new development on the site. There is no metropolitan district. There is no land dedication required. Planning Commission recommends approval of the annexation and the agreement, which is 01-2020, which includes a plan development zoning and a plan development sketch plan, which is ordinance 02-2020. Any questions?
Any questions from the board? Chief is here. Is there any comments from the applicant or presentation from the applicant?
Nothing that I haven't already informed you about.
Okay. This is a public hearing item, so I'll open it up to the public. Would anyone like to speak for or against this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for discussion or motion.
Motion for ordinance number 01-2020, an ordinance approving the annexation of property known as Fire Station 1 annexation.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Hogan?
Trustee Bornstein?
Yes.
Trustee Stevens?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Wilson?
Yes. That motion passes 4-0. Next item on the agenda. Next item on the agenda is the sister resolution of the previous one, number 02-2020, a resolution authorizing the town I'm sorry.
Zoning.
An ordinance approving the zoning of property known as Fire Station Number 1.
So, same presentation.
Okay?
Second ordinance, which ratifies what the annexation agreement says, and that is that the zoning is to be designated planned development, and the sketch plan designates the use as fire station.
Okay? Questions from the board?
Is it slated then for planned development later on?
If any improvements come through, they will have to go through the plan development site plan process.
But it's currently slated for planned development.
Yeah, that's what is designated in the previously approved ordinance and the annexation agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Manning.
Any other questions from the board? Well, does the applicant have anything to add to this?
No, Mayor.
This is a public hearing item, so is there any comments for or against from the public? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for a motion.
Motion ordinance number 02-2020, an ordinance approving the zoning of property known as Fire Station 1 annexation.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Hogan?
Trustee Stevens?
Yes.
Trustee Bornstein?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Wilson?
Yes. That motion passes 4-0. Resolutions. Resolution number 01-2020, a resolution designating posting places for public meetings. Ms. Hogan?
Yes, the Colorado Revised Statutes requires that at the first meeting of each calendar year, the board designate public posting places for their meetings. Some legislation passed last year that indicated it was the intent of the General Assembly that local governments transition from posting physical notices of public meetings in physical locations to posting notices on a website. If you choose to go that route, an additional requirement is that your website needs to be registered with DOLA, which I have done in advance of requesting this resolution. So basically, if you pass this resolution, it will indicate that the town's website is our official posting place, and it will designate the bulletin board at the post office as an alternate location in the event that you're unable to post on the website, such as power failure or intermittent problems with your website. So
Are we also posting it here in this building?
we always put it up on the corkboard in the lobby.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if there is anything wrong with the website, which happens to the best of us, what would be the protocol at that point?
Then we just post it at the post office. There's that for government only notices, and
Thank
we'll
you.
post it there in lieu of having it on our website.
And currently, we just post it there.
Currently, we post it on our website, at the post office, and here in the lobby.
Okay.
And,
Additional-
well, and social media, but it's always blasted on social media as well,
Right.
but that's not an official meeting notice.
Any questions from the board? Okay, do we have a motion?
I move resolution number that's our first resolution of the year.
01, yeah.
Yeah, 2020, a resolution designated posting places for public meetings.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Hogan?
Trustee Bornstein?
Yes.
Trustee Stevens?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Wilson?
Yes. That motion passes 4-0. Resolution number 02-2020, a resolution authorizing the town clerk to appoint election judges for the regular municipal election. Ms. Hogan?
All right, well, Colorado statute requires that the Board of Trustees appoints election judges at least 15 days before an election or grants the clerk authority to do so. So I'm just asking if the board would grant me the authority to appoint election judges. Also included in this resolution is setting rates of pay for such judges. And I also included in your background paper the requirements to be an election judge, if you're interested in that. And if you have any questions, I'm available.
Ms. Hogan, have we not always empowered you for these
Yes, historically,
responsibilities?
it has historically, the board has authorized the clerk to do so.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
And I wonder if you as the clerk, do you rotate those judges frequently, yearly, annually, or how does that work?
Well, in here, I've only been the designated election official for 2 elections for the town of Monument. The first one was April of 2018. This will be my second one. So I don't have a whole lot of historical data. But what I plan to do is put out an application process, accept the applications, and the selections will be based on the availability and the timeframes that I need, but preference would be given to judges with previous election experience.
So the rotation of judges would not be high priority?
Well, I think there's some value in having done it already, and we did have, like, I had 5 election judges 2 years ago. And I would reach out to those election judges because they did a good job 2 years ago, and they kind of know the ropes, and I think having some experience is helpful.
So a question, how would this give the opportunity for other residents that want to participate and be involved? Because if it's gonna be based on the experience, and it's not by your choice, that could carry over. So is there a happy medium there where you can start getting new blood so they have experience also?
But yeah, I could do that. I mean, I plan to put out an application process, so whoever responds to the application I would contact and talk to. And if you guys don't want me to put preference on having experience, I can do that. It wouldn't be, my first choice, just because I do think experience is important. There are people who, have done it for years and years, and they know the ropes, and I think there's value in that, but.
There is, and I don't want the board micromanaging this process or being involved. I'm just saying that it's a closed door, it's a closed loop system to allow somebody new to learn. So maybe there's a 50-50 split. Base, you might not get the applicants, but if you do, those new people can learn from the people with experience, and then your grouping of potential judges expands. But me personally, I think we need to avoid, we've had these candidates, we're gonna continually use them. I don't think that's a good business decision for the future.
Okay.
How many applicants did we have last year, or last election?
Probably 8, and I hired 5.
And you hired 5?
And a lot of it was there is a requirement once election judges, you say, yes, you can be an election judge, they have to get back to you within 7 days in writing. And a lot of them just fell through, didn't respond back in 7 days. So it was pretty cut and dry who
So you have
qualified.
5 possible people to be
Mhm.
election judges.
Which again, then you have to, you do your own protocol. But if we can get new people in, I think that's exciting for the town, because then it gives you a bigger pool of people if somebody's not available. But the only way they're gonna learn is by working with those that have done it.
True.
Additional questions from the board? Do we have, excuse me, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve resolution number 02-2020, a resolution authorizing the town clerk to appoint election judges for the regular municipal election to be held on Tuesday, April 7th, 2020, and establishing rates of pay for such judges.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Hogan?
Trustee Bornstein?
Yes.
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Stevens?
Yes.
Mayor Wilson?
Yes. That motion passes 4-0. Public comments. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have anyone from the public that would like to make any comments? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Allison Robenstein with the OCN. I know you can't answer my question, maybe you could just nod or blink or something. If you are going to do the posting out on the internet, are you also going to send out the emails still? And if
Can
you
you-
sign up for those?
May I answer?
Yes.
Okay. Anytime a document is loaded onto Documents on Demand, If you are set up, if you have indicated that you want to be notified, the notification goes out automatically.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any additional public comments? Seeing none, I'll close the public comments. Board authorization items, do we have any at this time? Nothing. Does the board have anything at this time? Okay. Board of Trustee comments. Ms. Clark, would you like to start with the checks over 5,000?
Yes, is there any way I can get them pulled up on the screen?
Take me just a second.
Okay.
Is there a particular page you have in mind?
I have two questions,
One was what company?
preferably with the town manager.
Okay.
TPX invoices. I noticed that there was a late charge on this rather huge bill, and I'm wondering why we would be hit with such a late charge, and if we're paying our bills on time.
We are paying our bills on time. I've had that discussion with our current finance director, and I'm gonna continue having that discussion. I believe we are negotiating this with TPX. There was a discussion about this, about when this bill was due and when it started, so we're not gonna be paying the late charge on this one.
So they made an error in this
I don't think
charge?
they made an error. I think their accounting department saw that it didn't come on their timeliness, you know, their schedule, but it was on our schedule. So there's a discrepancy amongst the two parties about when it needed to be paid.
And
so
does
we're trying
this,
to work that out.
does this vendor of, that provides service, have they been with the town a long time?
No, they just, that's the whole issue, is they just started. And so we feel like they didn't complete the work in a timely fashion. And so we felt like the bill wasn't due until then. And so their accounting department, the people that are doing the work agree with us. Their accounting department hasn't been told that they agree with us yet. And
Well,
so
I'm
as
thrilled
soon as
that-
they get told that the work wasn't done on time, I believe the charges will be, taken off.
So we should see a refund of that.
Yes, exactly,
Great, well, I'm glad to hear that we're paying our bills on time.
we are.
And then the second one would be, Murray and,
Murray Dahlberry and Renal.
yes.
I don't know if it's before this or after this. I'm just
It's after.
scrolling.
Maybe a little higher, yeah, a little more.
Let's see.
No,
No,
other
the
way.
other way. I should've said lower, I'm sorry.
Do you want this or do you want the detailed invoice?
First I
Detailed
need
one.
this, and then I need the detailed invoice.
Okay, let me,
So let me just go from here.
I have it as page 17.
well, this is a PDF without page numbers like on my screen, but you want me to try to find page 17?
Not right
Okay.
now. My question to the town manager is that it looks like the budget administration set aside for this company was $40,000, and they spent year-to-date $82,704.41, with an additional request currently of $5,911.40, with going into the red, $48,615.81. And that was for the admin budget, and then for the 2A ASD budget, same situation has occurred with $47,314.33 above and beyond the budget. Would you care to explain why we're going so many thousands of dollars above the budget for this?
I think that was something that we all discussed when I first got here. You know, I wasn't here when the budget was set, and y'all hired a outside attorney. And so I think you've seen a lot of lawsuits this year, a lot of issues that have come up, a lot of questions from the board that have had to be answered, a lot of staff questions. We've had to have a lot of things answered this year that have cost us quite a bit of money.
So,
And I think during the year, y'all have decided, the board has decided to go back with an in-house attorney that will be paid a salary versus, an hourly rate for when a board member has a question. It's our responsibility to get that question answered. When a citizen brings up an issue and we have to answer that, and we need the help of an attorney, we have to call him. And so there's been a lot of opportunities for us to overspend the budget from last year, and we
So-
have done that.
so my question on this is that when we have a situation where the overspending occurs, whether it's the town attorney or any other budget expense, when we're going this far over the budget, is there a process in place to make sure that the board is being called attention to that fact and we can restate that budget for a different amount? Or is there any process to make sure that this is before the fact instead of after the fact?
Yes, ma'am, there is. And I believe we've done that this year. We've made the board aware that, we were going over budget on the attorney's fees. We're not over budget as far as the general fund. We're not over budget as far as any of our funds, but as far as legal fees, we are over budget. And we've made the board aware of that all during the year, in emails, presentations, and all kinds of things that we made you aware that there was opportunities for us to spend more than we had budgeted.
And I know we had extremely interesting situations occur this year,
Right.
and I'm not debating that or saying that we didn't know about it. I'm asking if we are going this far over, this is total over 80,000, I think.
But I think,
Yes, 95,000, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
over $95,000. Is there a process where did that come from then in the budget?
I wasn't here, so I can't tell you where you came,
I
where the,
apologize, Mr.
where,
Farr.
yeah, where the calculations were done that thought that we would spend that much money. And I don't want to make excuses or anything like that, but there obviously was some forethought put into it, but also there was probably some cases that were coming up that we were aware of that we may not have planned for properly.
So, on the basis of that, do we have that kind of figured into the next?
That's
year's budget?
exactly, I think that's one of the decisions that helped determine us to go with an in-house attorney.
So,
And that's going to lower our costs next year.
so even though
And so we budgeted for that. We budgeted for an in-house attorney. And so, but there could be cases that come up, and I've had this discussion with Joe, is that we may need an expert, and we may have to call Joe in to help us with some cases next year. We may have to call in our water attorneys next year for some cases. And so there are some unforeseen things that are out there that we may have to address. And to address your point, we will make you aware of that as soon as possible.
And will we have a process in place where, say, unbeknownst to us, a case comes through and it costs $40,000 to fix it or resolve it, or however you want to legally address that, where we will pull from some other portion of the budget to compensate that amount? That is what I'm asking.
You will definitely have that opportunity.
So
Yep.
you have a process in place this upcoming year to accommodate this.
Yeah, just like this year, when we had cases come up and we discussed them in executive session or we discussed them in public, we always gave you the opportunity to tell you how long that case might take. And with that determination, you made a decision for us to hire the attorney and have the attorney go forward with that case.
And I'm not debating that, I'm just asking.
But
is
I'm
there
just
a
saying-
physical process that
Yes,
we
ma'am.
need to use?
That's what I'm saying we'll do again this year, is we will come to you before we spend the money and tell you that there's an opportunity for us to either be sued or to sue somebody, and then we'll tell you approximately how much time we'll think that'll take, how much cost that'll be, and then you'll have the opportunity to make a decision at that time.
And then, so if we go over budget, is there do we just go to the general fund and pull that out of the general fund is my question? Where does that money come from?
It depends on what the case is. If it's a water case, then it would come out of the water fund. If it's a case that affects the general fund, then it would come out of the general fund. And you might have to make decisions like we may have some projects that we haven't done yet, and you may have to make a decision not to do a project to be able to pay for an attorney's fee.
Thank you for your explanation. I appreciate
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate your time.
You bet.
And just to be clear,
Oh,
we get this every month, so
Yes,
we've
sir.
been
Yes,
watching
sir.
it all of 2019 go over.
Exactly.
Well, and my question was the process, not the the
I
obvious
guess I'm
red.
just curious why it's a question now and it wasn't a question last month or the month before.
Well, in typical budgets,
because-
you have a 10 to 20% ratio of overage or underage. This seemed to be excessive, so I'm wondering if for excessive costs like this, do we have a process in place where we know where those funds are going to be coming out of, so we can make a better determination when we get presented these cases? At least I can make a better determination. Maybe y'all don't need it, but I do.
I was just gonna make the comment, again, 2019's done. And I think nobody wanted to admit or see, but we knew where we were heading. But it is a new year. I think this just encourages the board to work diligently so we can identify an in-house attorney. And I would just hope, and I wouldn't hope, I expect that we would utilize Mr. Rivera's services wisely.
Definitely.
And not with multiple emails, because one email, I'm sure we're paying, a phone call we're paying, and we can optimize. And Mr. Foreman, you're a sharp guy, so I'm sure you determine what goes and doesn't. But I don't think it's a surprise where we're at.
Yeah.
We knew it.
Well, and I
but-
wasn't indicating it was a surprise.
no,
I'm
I-
just asking about the actual process.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, there's a checks and balances and what have you. But this has been a
Exactly.
very sporadic
Well, we've had a
year.
lot of victories this year in the legal arena, and I would never want to debate that. I think Mr. Rivera's done an excellent job. None of that was the issue. My issue was the process. Where does that money come from when we do go over?
Right.
I just want to
Exactly.
clarify that.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Did you have any further,
Nope,
Checks
that was
question.
all I had.
thank you. Any other comments from the board?
I was just gonna say, happy 2020 to the residents, to the town, to the employees, and hopefully this will be a great year for the town.
Any additional comments? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
I was there.
I'm sorry, Lori, I wasn't following you.
I just need to know what the process is.
Yeah.